Hey guys, this is going to be a shorter video. I just want to touch on the process of navigating what feels like a very big circumstantial shift when your soul alignment is calling for something different, when you're being called to a different path, live a different way, and when you're being called to make a radical change. So I'm back to making videos now, guys. I went through this exact process. That's why I was AWOL for a little bit. Just to rewind a bit, I'd been living in the same place for the last 2 years, and that was its own process. That was its own calling. 2 years before that, I was a little bit more nomadic, a little bit more immersed with community, and I had the pull to create a more stable, grounded living environment to help me work with the refinement of my soul mission and the frequency that I'm bringing through with my work, and to just create what I was here to create. I wanted to withdraw myself from any of the noise, like the traveling world, the spiritual communities. They're beautiful, they're powerful. They are not necessarily meant to be the default path, though, right? Sometimes you are called to withdraw yourself from the teachings, from the community, from the people that you have been traditionally around, in order for you to feel your own unique signature in a different way, and for you to metabolize everything that you've learned and bring out what is really inside of yourself for you to share with the world. So that was my process. And I felt for a couple of months, and now this is the thing that I really want to share with you guys so that you can leak less energy than I did. So when you know you're about to go through a big change in your life, you can get unsettled on a soul level, and you can start to intuit that there is a change that wants to happen. There is a change in circumstances, a change in how I live, a change in where I live, a change in the people that I'm surrounded by. And you can enter into a phase of contemplation. And this is what I entered into. And for me, this contemplation was a bit like, oh, is it this? Do I want to move to another house in a different area? It was, oh, do I want to go on this trip for 6 weeks? Do I want to go and create a mini community with that group of friends? It was kind of like that. It was lots of different, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? And really, what I was responding to was the beginning of an unsettledness in my system, which was saying something else is calling you, something else is pulling you, but we don't know what it is. And the is it this, is it that, is really a response to the how you respond on a mental level to what is unknown inside of your system. And really what I would do differently now is I would be a bit more curious with it and feel into vibrationally what it is that I'm really wanting to feel and be expanded by. And yes, I was doing that with everything that was showing up, because it was very clear it's not that. I'm not meant to go on this long trip. I felt there were certain vibrational aspects of that. I want to be in a different environment. I want to travel without a return date. That's why the long trip didn't resonate, because it had a return date. I want to travel without a return date. And it was like, there were just all these different aspects. Oh, I want to move to that different location because I like having a base. Okay, energetically, vibrationally, what does the base represent symbolically? It represents anchoredness, it represents groundedness, it represents having a space for your channels to be clear, like all these kind of things. And I was just seeing how, oh yeah, all of those things aren't actually environmental. They're aspects of myself that I get the permission to resonate because of what I see my circumstances to represent. So ultimately, I am the thing that's powerful here. Just like everything circumstantial is actually a permission slip to help us access something inside of ourselves. So I had this so much back and forth, and it was leaking a lot of energy in a lot of ways. And I really just, at a certain point, came back to whatever I'm meant to do, I will do. And I was very activated by a specific timeline that wasn't actually the one I was meant to do. I found a house that I just loved. This house had so many different images and symbols that I'd been feeling and my partner had been feeling in just a dream house that we wanted to have next. And the house was even called the same name as my partner, which is just outrageous because houses are never usually called human names. So there are all these signs, and I really connected into that timeline of it. And when I connected with that timeline, it disentangled me from the current timeline of where I lived, and it opened me into this new potential. But I ultimately had to surrender to, does this alignment want to happen? So when it came down to it, I didn't really receive a full green light for this alignment, for this timeline. There came the moment where it was the option to go and see the house, and just didn't feel in a flow, didn't feel natural to our energy. So I just let go of that. So eventually it was just clear that we wanted to come to Greece, we wanted to come in this certain window. And it just began with the very simple, oh yeah, that's the next calling. We want to go to that place. We want to go to that thing. We want to see those people. That was it. Because the thing is that when you're going through a really big alignment shift, you can actually sense a mammoth universe wanting to happen for you, something really big. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to perceive the whole picture. You're trying to access all the information within it. But the reality is that this is a whole new terrain. It's a whole new map. You're not meant to access it in one go. What you're meant to do is listen to the first call. Surf the first wave. And then the terrain will reveal itself to you. So in this moment of acknowledging that it was time for something new, and there was also, let me backpedal a little bit. We knew we wanted to leave this house, leave this location, but we were saying to ourselves, okay, the ideal time to do that would be October. The reason it was the ideal time was absolutely, completely mental. Not truly coming from alignment whatsoever. It was on the story and the premise that by that time we will have XYZ things that will deem us perfectly prepared, right? Such a mental analysis. And it's so easy when you're in that story about what is important, what do I need? It's so easy to believe that stuff. It's so easy to believe that you need this, that, and the other beneficial circumstance to support you, instead of recognizing that, okay, if I'm called, I need to step, I need to trust, I need to answer that call. And no matter what, if I am called, the universe is going to reconfigure to answer that call for me. I am going to be supported to answer my calling no matter what. The universe doesn't call you and then deny your call. This is not how it happens. Circumstances respond. You answer the call. They're responding to you all of the time, not the other way around. So when you're in a process of waiting for circumstances to be perfect to give you permission to act, then your circumstances are going to be also waiting for you to reconfigure themselves, so you enter into a little bit of a stalemate. And it's a recipe for stagnancy, for unaliveness, and for just uninspiration, and for a little bit of a delay in your alignment. A little bit could be a lot. So then it was like, okay, no, we're just going to acknowledge the knowing. This is before we knew the how. Was like, okay, wait a second, let's just acknowledge the knowing. We have to leave, and we'll allow the how to present itself. The how followed imminently, pretty shortly. And in the moment of acknowledging the knowing, what I was very surprised about is that it became very, very obvious to me that it was more unnatural to stay where I was than to go through the difficult process I had to go through. Difficult, I decided to reframe it as easy at a certain point, but initially I felt it was difficult. Get rid of all of our things, sell our car. Her name was Carmen. Sell the car, let go of the house, put things into storage, and to do it in this short window of time because we really wanted to go to this festival in Greece in this location that I'd already been to. So it was like, I was so surprised by how crystal clear it felt that this is unaligned, this is aligned, and how not difficult it felt to let go of things that I was pretty attached to. I loved where I lived, I loved my house, I loved everything about it, and I loved what it gave me, how it nourished me. But it was so easy to let go of it because it felt so unnatural. Once I had recognized that this is no longer aligned, I have to let go of it. So that was actually really, really easy. Doesn't mean there wasn't some emotions, doesn't mean there weren't some grief. Doesn't mean there wasn't like an emotional process that needed to move through me. This has happened to me multiple times in my life where I've had to leave a place, leave a community, leave a way of being, because I recognized my path was leading me somewhere different. And even though I was so attached and so invested on so many levels, and there was so much love there, I still could acknowledge, okay, there needs to be a grieving process, and it's natural to have a grieving process for what was once aligned. And it doesn't mean that just because you have a grieving process, you're not meant to go. It's just a natural thing. When you connect to somewhere deeply, when you really become present with all of your heart and with all of your soul, there's just a natural emotional cleansing and purification that has to happen as you unravel your energy from that circumstance and that place. Now, what else did I learn? A few things. Oh yeah, okay. Let's talk about like on the other side of the shift. So yes, you have to step out in faith, step out in conviction, step out in knowing, follow the little bit of a call. Well, once we got here, then it was the shifting of everything inside of my field that needed to go for me to be in perfect balance and harmony within the changing, fluctuating environment. So how this first, basically, when you really harmonize with an environment, with people, with a place, there's a certain aspect of you that unconsciously sources something from that. So when you are pulled into a new place, it is a pattern interrupt of where you were outsourcing that thing, and you have to go through the process of learning how to self-source these things internally and seeing where you need to step into a different type of stability in your field that is unaffected by dynamic aspects of your circumstances. Because when you move to a new environment, there will be things that are triggering, that are less than perfect, maybe that they don't work, that don't meet your expectations. And then it's just a path of mastery. It was for me anyway to like learn how to recognize that, wow, that's annoying, and at the same time my state, my vibration is priority one. I'm not going to allow these things to trigger me. I'm not going to allow these circumstances to bother me. I'm going to recognize that the reason I'm upset is because I expected this thing to be important to me, but I'm seeing the thing that is actually important to me is the permission and the power I give it, and I can actually source that within. And also, if you're in a relationship, and when you go through these big circumstantial shifts as well, any ways in which your relationship was in a type of harmony because of the support of the environment, and then the environment is no longer as supportive and is a bit more dynamic, a bit more changing, then there will be areas in your relationship that also come up to be purified, so you can find that sense of harmony and unity and transparency to each other. Like you can keep that flow of love as strong when the environment is a little bit more that's what you perceive it to need to be. So those are a few things that I learned. So many things that I learned, really, to be honest with you guys. It's been such a, like, I couldn't have perceived from my point of view that was very attached to why those circumstances were important to me. I couldn't have perceived why it was so important to go through this shift and to answer this call. But I knew it was important to answer the call because now the call was clear. The call wasn't clear before. The call was a stir, which is really just my own energetic system saying, we are opening up for something new. Be curious. Disentangle yourself from the current timeline. See what wants to open up for you. And then you're going to get the cue. So going through that process. And yeah, what I really learned is that, another thing, is that the most important thing is your soul alignment and the path that your soul is instructing you to go on. And that is the only thing you really should be attached to and loyal to, even though we love to create circumstances that we love, that nourish us, that we have put so much time and effort and money and intention and love into creating the perfect circumstances. But the reality is that they are not as important to be attached to as your alignment and the direction that your soul is going to call you to go, because it needs to grow. Your soul really knows. And there's so many fearful reasons that you could decide not to follow your soul alignment based off what's happening in the world, based off believing you're not ready, based off believing you need this, that, and the other. But the best strategy for being on the highest path, no matter what, is to activate your highest expression without compromise, without fear. We're not here to try to avoid fearful outcomes. Like, what would be the point of that? What do you vibrationally put yourself into when you're trying to avoid a non-favorable outcome, right? Think about it. You're here to activate your highest expression, and that is the most important strategy, so to speak, to handle a world that is turbulent and changing. And the reality is that that's the world. You're the universe. And your vibration, your state dictates your experience. It dictates what you attract. And that is the only thing you really need to pay attention to. This is the only thing that's really going to make a difference for you. So actually, I didn't really have a process around like fearful things happening in the world or any of this kind of stuff. For me, I don't give a lot of space to those frequencies, but I do think that for other people, they could have that kind of process. So I just want to drop that one in. And if you do have those fears and those processes, you have to work through them. There's nothing wrong with having them. I've worked through them in the past. So that's why it wasn't really present in this process. Okay, guys, sending you all so much love.